Morning, July 13th, 9:04 a.m. UK time. And yes, launch phase is engaged, not just in price, but also for pulse sacrifice. And yeah, quick message to all the Hexagon chartists on YouTube and Twitter. If you're not on TradingView, get on TradingView and share your ideas. It appears I'm still the only one talking about Hex on TradingView, and TradingView has a large number of traders out there. Indeed, myself actually have onboarded a few people directly from TradingView who are curious as to why nobody talks about Hex. So yeah, Hexicans chartists, get on TradingView. Share your ideas there as well. Okay, and to the charts and lift off launch phase engaged. Yes, this is a hunt volatility funnel. And let's remove this little squiggle that I kind of anticipated to happen and appears to be true. Let's do Hikinashi. And you see this build out of this funnel high, low, high one, high, low two. Where would low two be? Maybe this is an odd Vic, but either one, high two, low two, high three, low three, and this is the actual funnel phase, and you have liftoff. And where does this project to? This pattern projects to 11.7 cents, 11.7 cents, which could be met within a couple of days, right? A couple of days, Thursday, Friday, at a minimum. So, and Hex has done a history of creating these patterns, which kind of makes sense because it's a two-way market. And here's the previous one, which kind of played out. Actually, did play out to perfection. 9.8 cents, as we see from the charts. And we also had a large one back here earlier in the year. This was kind of more drawn out, but the pattern is there, and it just fell shy of making 2.5 cents. So yeah, and if you've got an asset that continually repeats patterns, the patterns kind of give validity, right? Give validity as they continue to make these patterns, right? Eventually, at some point, you can imagine that not to be the case as more participants kind of see these patterns form. There may be some front running of these patterns as they form up here, right? So, yep, 12 cents is the target. 12 cents is the target, and it could actually be overperformance because of the nature of this launch phase. And Richard tweeted out on Twitter the kind of nature of the draft he has in his mind, and it's a 17-day sacrifice phase. 17 days. The first 3 days being when you would receive the most potentially pulse tokens, right? And the reason why I go back to Hexicans sharing the ideas on TradingView is lack of awareness on TradingView, and some people just stay on TradingView all day long as they try and out trade Hex. How can you imagine trying out trade Hex? As you can see, Hex is up 11.81% today, and while the rest of the market is still kind of bearish, still recovering. Bitcoin 33,249. It's still in the doldrums, And let's take a look at Bitcoin priced in Hex. Bitcoin priced in Hex. So we had a 20x outperformance against Bitcoin over here. The high was 7.75 million Hex required to buy one Bitcoin at the peak over here in November 20. And it kind of retested that high before breaking down. Currently at 365,000 Hex required to purchase or swap into one BTC. And that's the key. All cryptocurrencies have ability to swap back into BTC. So that's the reason why I kind of still look at Bitcoin price, because it is still relevant at some level. It is still relevant at some level. And here we go. Look, another 20x performance. We'll put Bitcoin hex ratio at 20,000. Will it be this year? Probably next year, right? Another 20x against BTC. And how many sats would that be? How many sats would that be? I bet we're making all two new highs on Hex BTC. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And even this chart here shows a little bit of a hunt volatility funnel as well. High one, low one, high two, low two, and where would you draw the high three, low three? Is always kind of a little bit tricky to spot sometimes, and sometimes you have to dial in on the hourly. Let's do 2 hours. Yeah, a little bit clearer, right? So high one, low one, high two, low two, and yeah, high three, low three. So you had a little bit of congestion funneling action. One false pop. This is hit BTC, so the wicks are not entirely accurate. Some trading bots on that platform. There's a centralized exchange, of course. So to increase their volume, they will have some bots running in the background. But there you have the pop. And let's have a little measurement. Where will this project us? Where will this project us? Take the log off. And here we go. Here we go, right here. You're looking at 320 sats. 320 sats of hex. That's how many BTC Satoshis are required to get one hex. So still some way to go. Currently at 295. So yeah, another 10% basically against Bitcoin. How do you like that, Bitcoin maximalists? Because it's been a savage ride. For all the doubters and haters, since the end of April, you're looking at where are we? Wow. Wow. Is this true? Is this really at 35 sats? Yeah, that's right. Almost a 10x. Almost a 10x against Bitcoin in 2.5 months. That's insane performance, isn't it? Insane performance. So as the market has been dumping, Hex continues to gain market share. And let's look at some other charts, shall we? This is just, let's put the log back on. It was just channeling, which I was watching way back when. Zones of interaction, lower channel, mid channel, and upper channel. And it broke. So at some point, I will do an upper channel. But what I kind of did on the USD on Uniswap is draw some fans above the action. So here's actually kind of what I have anticipated, like busting through these levels, creating new all-time highs, and using these upper fan network to get some sort of upper resistance. Because that's the problem when you're making new all-time highs. Blue skies, right? Blue skies. Where do you, if people are still trying to trade hex, that is, where do you draw upper boundaries? Well, one way is obviously Bollinger Bands, which is more kind of useful for volatility expansion waves, right? And here we have it. Volatility expansion waves, pinch and break and push. So here we go, 12 cents up here. And you can see in the past how during expansion waves, price action will actually push up and ride these upper Bollinger Bands. And that's the history of Hex, riding these Bollinger Bands up, even during dumps. It wasn't really actually driving it down too much, and riding it down, tag, but move away. Not like this, where it's continually tagging and actually sometimes closing above. That is extremely rare for any asset to do, like on a continual daily basis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Even that, I think that could be technically just outside the Bollinger Band. Yep. 6.7 cents. Yep. even that 8 days in a row. I don't think I've ever seen that in any asset in my entire career. So that was an incredible period during May. Incredible. Um, and let's have a look at cross asset comparisons. HEXref breakout. All new time highs, and again, I never know how to say this. 478,000 grey, I believe, but I think on TradingView the numbers are slightly off. I think there's less grey than there are satoshis, I believe. So I'm not too sure. I should really look that up one day. Probably you never will. Oh well. Hex or gold. Hex priced in gold. Again, you've got this similar volatility breakout happening, which kind of makes sense. And store value, 5,000 years. Hasn't done too well, has it, recently? Against Hex, the number one DeFi product out there. This is one of my favorite charts because we have a lot of silver bugs, right, in the trading communities. Silver bugs continue waiting for the end of manipulation, right? True price discovery at some point. It probably will happen. It's more likely that some sort of central bank will just reprice the precious metals up, right? So rather than let the free market determine it, they'll probably just reprice it at some point. Unless they use another type of collateral trying to back their central bank proliferation, right? We're not too sure, but one day they will have their day in the sun. Let's have a look at gold and silver, just out of curiosity. 1807. It's been a long drawn out kind of market for them. I think didn't it peak last August at 2100. So yeah, it's 2100 last year. It's down $300. Silver still just chugging away, not really doing much. But at some point again, who knows? Central banks may do something with it. Back to Hex. Is there anything else that really pops up? Litecoin, strong Litecoin community always. It kind of seems like a bit of a silver community, you know, always wanting, praying and hoping. But again, one day Litecoin is probably will have their day in the sun, but not before Hex just takes away value from it. We're currently at 1383 hex to acquire one Litecoin. 1383 hex. Look at this. It's so this price action on Bitstamp against Hex only goes back to May. So I kind of projected out actually with kind of some sort of accuracy how it used to be, right? Hex used to be approaching 2 million hex to get one Litecoin. And now, again, like I said, 1383 hex to get one Litecoin. Probably on its way down to 100 hex to get one Litecoin. Probably end of the year or beginning sometime in spring next year. But look at this angle. It's more likely this year, isn't it? Incredible stuff. And any other assets you want to compare? Doge. Yeah, let's have a look at Doge versus Hex, or Hex in Doge. I believe I have it here somewhere. Here we go. Hex. Is this it? Yeah, it could be it. Hex Doge. Okay, so how many Doge does it require to get one Hex? Well, you're approaching 0.46, which is basically two Doge to get one Hex. Incredible. 2 Doge to get one Hex, and Doge is what is it? What, 20 cents? Yeah, 20.48 cents. So yeah, it's bleeding out. Elon played his games, fooled us all, not the HEXicans, but fooled a lot of people in crypto community, and more importantly, which I find actually quite disgusting, people outside of crypto, newbies, FOMO'd in. I know friends who bought lots of Doge, who had never bought any cryptocurrency before, FOMO into Doge around here. And is it wrecked? Well, maybe only if they sold, right? But again, I had no uptake on people wanting to get into Hex, even though I shared it at the start of the year, and it's just a sad state of affairs. So I did actually give a warning on Facebook to friends and family when Bitcoin hit 50 to avoid the media and not buy Bitcoin. And yeah, unfortunately, BTC 33,000. It's kind of played out, unfortunately. Hex, what did Hex do in that period? Hex in that period. Oh boy, it's gone up over what 13, 14 times in that period. Yeah, could have been some life changing gains for some people, but people like to buy more expensive stuff. People like to buy expensive stuff that is being promoted because they feel safety in going with the crowd, I guess. I'm not too sure why. But that's how they kind of been mentally trained to do things, right? So, yeah. So great stuff. Congrats to all the HEXicans. We're probably going to hit new all-time highs today. And what is the all-time highs? Let's have a look. Make sure we are accurate. Okay, 9.8 cents. 9.8 cents. Yeah, very good chance that is met today. And let's have a look at the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands. Yeah, pushing on up, right? Yeah, above Bollinger Bands on the 3 hour, on the daily. Again, poking above. So this could really push on up. And like I said, Hex has done 8 days before closing above. You got a sacrifice phase of 17 days, and the important thing to remember on the sacrifice from the draft that Richard promoted and tweeted earlier was the first 3 days actually pays more. The first 3 days actually pays more, and the curve upwards is trends all the way up to double at the end of the sacrifice phase, which is 17 days. So yeah, secure your bags. Hex is launching. If so, Joe Exotic actually mentioned something on YouTube yesterday when he was talking to Nerd Girl. If you didn't catch it, he was talking about how he used to be a stock market participant, speculator, and he's got some experience in the game of art or science of trading, and kind of predicting how whales can really throw this price around. So he was talking about how on the deadline of the sacrifice phase, a huge pump could be incoming, but there will be dumps along the way. So it's going to be interesting. So as the price of Hex goes up and down, the amount you can allocate to potentially receive new Pulse tokens will change. So you've got two factors in play: that bonding curve, which goes flat, then up for a double at the end, and also the price of Hex. So this will be interesting. As more details are confirmed, the whales will begin plotting, right? Whales like to secure more bags for themselves. So not just being Hex whales, they want to be Pulse whales as well. So interesting days and weeks ahead of us. So probably if it's launched, if Sacrifice phase is launched, let's say just Friday, let's say Friday. So what would that be? Yeah, 16th, I believe. We're going for the month of July. Around here. So who knows where Hex could be, right? Who knows where Hex could be? If I guess, I think we would be in the plus 25 cent zone, plus 25 cents zone, maybe 30 cents. Yeah, I think we finally hit our 10,000x performance against the design spec that Richard set out all those years ago. Yeah, 2019 Hex launched, and with the design intention to outperform Ethereum when it launched, and it seems like that will be hit. That will be hit soon enough. So, yep. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, just a reminder, HEXicans, get on TradingView, share your ideas, share. Let's dominate TradingView as well. There's plenty of people with money on TradingView, and plenty of people who have been wrecked by influences not mentioning Hex. So save a life, save a wallet, and yeah, get more people on board. More eyeballs is always good, right? Okay, peace, Balaji out.